Hey guys, this is Navonod on No Limit Hold'em. Doing a little celebration here. We just passed 100 subscribers. Still on the Run It Up from Nothing Part 2. I think we're at $85, $90, something like that. If you haven't seen any of them, we cashed everything out, used frequent player points, $2 and some $2.59 that was won in a free roll and rolled it up to 500 and some and cashed it out again, and this is the second go. There's been some fluctuation. I got it up over 60, then dropped it back down to like 25 or something, and now we're running it back up. Okay, so we check back on this flop. You could probably expect that our opponent, this is at the $5 level, he probably can put us pretty squarely on a showdown value type hand if he's thinking through things well. So when he when he bets the turn and I call, he's got to know that I'll have some flush draws in my range after I call him, and some hands like 7-8. I think he could, well, I mean, not know, but he could suspect that. In reality, I probably would have bet all of my I've got to figure out if I ever have a better hand than this. Yeah, I'll have sets of 10s and 2 pairs and the occasional thing. Good lord. Playing against a super user, he's dodging our hands. So yeah, we're over 100 subscribers. 102 and 100 and 103 is my favorite numbers to get on that. But I wanted to announce a couple things besides just doing some strategic content. Now, Beluga theorem would say that we should fold our hand here, right? He could definitely have a hand like 5-7, but heads up, the Beluga theorem, if you're not familiar, is not to call raises on the turn with one pair. But we're pretty well at the top of our range, and the run out has not been grotesque for us. Not a great card. Good lord. Everything got there. Damn it. I hate folding top pair, top kicker, heads up, but still know what I'm beating. Even his semi-bluffs got there. His value raises were already ahead of one pair, and most of his semi-bluffs turned into 2 pair or better by the river, so I think we just have to release. It's an interesting spot. I think I'm going to take the king high for showdown value, and the gut shot is a strong draw, and just take the passive check call line and hope to improve by the river, or have it go check by the river, and hope to win it showdown with a... Alright, he's getting pretty aggro, but he does understand showdown value, and he's not going to be making a bunch of bets that don't accomplish anything. God, good lord. I mean, it's like he can see my cards. That makes, yeah, it makes it hard to beat him. I think 5-2 suited is maybe a call, or maybe a fold, or I think you could even put it into a 3-betting range if you felt like your 3-betting range needed to be polarized. Okay, so he's checked back the flop and folded on a relative brick, which is kind of interesting. So that tells me that I probably need to be a little bit pickier about the C-bets that I call. But it also means that I should definitely be leading turns against his checkbacks. Okay, I think he would probably check raise a lot of his draws on the flop. So I think this card, even though it doesn't do much, I mean, it gives us a gut shot and a weak flush draw. I think it's still a perfectly legitimate card to bet. And I think now we're at the bottom of our range. The board's run out pretty scary. I don't think he'll call us with too many hands. I think that was a pretty profitable spot to bet air. We'll never have a worse hand than that the way we played it. And even if he had like top pair with a good kicker or a reasonable kicker, I don't think he can call. Just gonna let this one go. I just have no kind of equity. If we're going to get aggressive some of the time, but not all of the time, we may as well choose the times when we actually have something to get aggressive with rather than the times we have nothing. Oh, so the announcements. At 100 subscribers, I wanted to make an announcement before I got to 100 subscribers, but everything happened pretty fast. I went from 92 to 102 like overnight. But yeah, what I wanted to do is I wanted to, at 100 subscribers, start a series called The Formula, which is just going to lay out exactly what I did. I mean, pretty much everything in kind of a class format or a free coaching, but not exactly interactive format, to take my $0 to over 500, cash it out, and take $0 to about 100 now. I mean, I can show you more or less what I did to get there. We'll float this out of position. I think a check raise, I think, just looks too much like a semi-bluff, which is what it is, whereas a check call can look like a weak ace, and it can look like a 10x, or like just a flush draw that decides to check and call. I may well check call a flush draw here. I think it just gives me more options and ways to go. I think he might expect me to check raise gut shots on that board, which I wouldn't, obviously, because that's what I had. But it might make it harder for him to get away from like an ace or a king that he checks back for showdown value and to bluff catch the river. I think figuring out how he played, like what he took that line with, could be very telling. This is a treasure trove showdown here. King, queen, okay. God, it makes perfect sense. Like, he plays pretty damn good. I'm gonna make a comment here. This is Navonod recording for my channel, Navonod on No Limit Hold'em. Okay, let's see, what do we want to do here? That, I suppose. You play super good No Limit Hold'em. Very, very good for this stake. I'm recording this game and will for sure add it to my YouTube channel. Take a look if you like. Again, we're going to call it Inside the Mind of Navonod or something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out, but maybe he'll give me some kind of a name. If you want to give me some kind of name to ID you, I will call video X versus Nav, where X is 7. Alright, so we're going to pick up aces and just hopefully go to work here in a 3-bet 4. Damn it, man. He is dodging all of these big hands. It's getting a little bit frustrating. We'll have some cards to continue on turns, and it's a kind of that's a good one. I think he's gonna call, and I'm just gonna get there. Damn it. we're at the bottom of our range. We can put them all in and get rid of his air. What did he do? He raised us on the turn. The problem is I don't think he has enough to fold anything like even a pair of aces. Yeah, he's gonna bluff catch too often, I think, in this spot for me to raise with nothing. He's really doing a good job of getting kind of... I mean, he's playing very well. I don't want to take anything away from that. But I do also feel like he's running really good in the sense that he seems to always have a raise when I've got a hand that doesn't want to be raised, and he's always got a hand that folds when I've got the top of my range, and so on and so forth. And you know, it's like the equivalent of getting matched every time you go to showdown. It's kind of hard to win, but here we are. So the formula. What I'm going to do is lay out exactly what I do pre-flop, on the flop, and then in later videos, turn and river, and then just kind of an overall note on trying to find exploitable tendencies and figuring out how our opponents playing, where their imbalances are, and how we can take advantage of them. And then I want to put up something that's called something like the special sauce or Navonod special sauce, something like that. Because I've got some little tricks and tactics that I use that I never talk about explicitly, and in fact oftentimes I don't use them when I'm filming, and if I do I don't talk about them or discuss them, and some of them are so obvious that I just don't do it if I'm recording. I'm gonna, for the first time, kind of bust that stuff out. Some of the stuff I have talked about, but a lot of it I haven't. You know, it's going to be akin to like the tips I give about when somebody makes a time bank check out of position as pre-flop caller when they've never made a donk bet. If they don't lead flops and they're pretending like they're thinking about leading a flop, it's because they don't want you to bet, right? So you just bet and take it, or play accordingly. Yeah, like pocket twos do not want to be raised at this stack depth. I mean, we can 4-bet pilot, but I don't think he's 3-betting quite often enough to make that the play. I think all options are on the table. His sizing is fantastic for the stack size. I don't think he's 3-betting enough for me to... Well, it's just a gross spot, right? I mean, getting... yeah, whatever. Anyway, so... I'm going to put the formula up. We're going to have the formula. It's probably going to be something like pre-flop, then flop, then turn and river, and then exploiting our opponents and adjusting, and then finally like, the special sauce, the hidden tips and tactics. And I think he's been limp folding exploitatively. And also I haven't been raising his limps that often, so... Seems like we can just take our 5 high and turn that into a bluff, right? Yeah, so the interesting thing about this thing is, where are we at? We're at 30 big blinds, and he just 3-shoved over okay, so we can use that. He can definitely run into the nuts way more often than he's just taking the blinds down, if he's going to try that kind of crap. Okay, so this I'm murdering this flop all day. In fact, I think I'm going to go for a check raise, and if he checks back, I'm going to go for just lead. I mean, he can't have any of this, and I can have all of it, right? Like, I'm not going to have ace queen, so I won't have the nuts, but neither will he. But I can definitely have jack 10, king 10. 8 and 9, like a bunch of hands that are going to have good runouts. I mean, really, I guess I shouldn't say that I'm going to have that board crushed. I think the better thing to say is that I'm just clearly at an advantage, because like my queen 9 and my 10x and some kid, like he's going to raise all that stuff and I'm not, you know. When he limps and I don't raise, it's gonna make it look like I've got some kind of mediocre hand. I think that's how he's gonna read it. So here's the interesting thing about I could have led that flop. I think we've got, let's see, we've got pocket fours, pocket fives, 5-6. But yeah, we've got all of this, and we've got 8-7. So we've got, you know, equity when called, and so I think we just have the most obvious check raise ever. God damn, I mean, unreal, right? There's no way. We do not have more semi-bluffs than value hands here. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. I guess when you add up all the gut shots, we're going to have a ton of check raises. Maybe I should have check called the open ender and used the more of the gut shots for the check raises. I don't know. You know, you could probably go either way with that. Open enders are going to play better on later streets. So you've got less incentive to just straight up fold your opponent's equity out. But, oh hell, I only had 10 blinds. I probably should have stacked that. It's hard to narrate and play perfect, you know. Okay, so this I think will induce pretty well. He hasn't seen me shipping yet, so I don't have to. I've got him dominated and just really crushed, but I guess he's just gonna suck out all the same, huh? No, not this time. Not this time. Alright, so I feel like we're flipping coins here. I think he's a really good opponent. But I want to make this. This is real close. I honestly don't know the answer to this. I say that I'm going to play perfect at 8 big blinds or 9 big blinds effective, but I don't. I don't know what to do with Jack 8. I'm sure it's super close. I've probably got something like 40% equity, and I'm getting about 3-2. So it's about whether you want to gamble or not. And I'm sort of indifferent to gambling even. We're going to let this go because I want to finish saying what I have to say. So the interesting thing is, when I put the formula up, it's going to be me posting the video for 3 weeks and then taking it down. So you've got to watch them in order. If you want to record them with whatever recording software you might have or purchase or get for free online, and they're out there. Blueberry, I think, is one of them. Blueberry Express is pretty good. BB Express. Okay, he limps. I think he's going to be doing this, like, I don't know, maybe with very weak hands and then some strong hands. I would expect the first time he does it at this depth would be more weighted towards weak hands. But my hands play so good post-flop that I think I'm willing to forego that small edge. And he's not at such an advantage with his position because I can still get stacks in. You know, even if he checks back as he did, I can go about here. And if he called, good God, dude. So he took no stab at the flop. The turn breaks. And he just folds to a lead. Yeah, I think we're playing against Miss Cleo here from the Psychic Hotline back in the day, if you know what I mean. If you don't, you're too young to play poker. Get a job. Ace-6 offsuit at 700 big blinds. Pretty obvious. Yeah, so I'm going to do probably 5 of these, the formula videos. I'm going to leave each one up for 3 weeks at a time and take it down at the 3-week mark. So watch it, record it, understand it, love it, appreciate it, subscribe, tell your friends about it. It's going to be the last chance to get them free. And then when I'm done with the series, I'm going to release the entire series as a, I don't want to slow roll this, homie. Alright, we've got to fade a jack. We won. You get the monies. So, we're going to decline the rematch because homeboy plays pretty good poker, and for NL5, we don't need any of that. Yeah, so look for the upcoming series, which again is going to be called The Formula, and it is going to be kind of a step-by-step instruction manual on how to play the game that I played at the micro stakes and small stakes, to run 0 into $2.59 into 500 and cash it all out, and then think something for like 480 and with frequent player points, and then start running it back up, and I'm now back up to like 95, 100 bucks, something like that. And I'm going to show you how to do that with probably the first video is going to be just pre-flop, the second video is going to be the flop, which is probably the most important thing. Then turn and river, I think I might just do turn and river in the same video, and then afterwards just like a tips and tricks, like like special like tactics, like just about when things like, it might not be exactly this, but these will be in there. The little silver bullets, golden nuggets, where we know that if our opponent like rapid fire checks, he's more likely to check and call than to check and raise or to check and fold. But if he time banks and checks as out of position pre-flop caller, he's likely willing to relinquish his hand. If we bet like pot size, he's always going to fold. Or it's very rare to find a villain that won't be time bank check folding most of the time. What to do when you sit down at an anonymous table and the very first hand you dealt is ace king, compared to what you might do if the very first hand is 8-9 suited. Things like that I've never really explicitly gotten into, but that are very valuable, and I think have made me a lot of money. Just little things that I figured out, timing tells, and playing patterns, population reads, things like that. Yeah, so I guess that's all I wanted to say about that. Until next time, guys, Navonod, over and out. Good quote, Luck, end quote.